So today we're diving into a really unique way of looking at crisis. Why we face it both as individuals and as a whole society. The source material we're looking at has this powerful idea that our personal struggles, they aren't just random isolated events. They're actually symptoms of a much, much bigger problem. But, and this is the important part, it also lays out a path forward, a whole new way of thinking about our purpose that it says is absolutely crucial for our future.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to look at the diagnosis, why our society is in crisis. Then, we'll unpack the 3 stages of evolution that got us to this point, moving from what's called a merchant to an entrepreneur, and finally to a social entrepreneur. After that, we'll totally redefine what it means to contribute before we get into a really critical turning point in our lives, the test of the 40s. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how all of this points to our real role in the world.
You know what's great about this philosophy? Is that it doesn't start with some high-level abstract theory. Nope. It starts with real, raw stories from people who feel completely and utterly stuck. And it uses these personal stories to show us that there's a much bigger problem at play.
So first, you've got this interior designer. Her business is just collapsing. Why? Because of this chain reaction that she has zero control over. A bank blocks a loan for a factory owner, who then can't pay the contractor, who then can't pay her. She's at the end of the line, left holding the bag. And what's her first thought? I must have studied something wrong. She takes this massive, systemic failure and turns it inward, blaming herself.
And then there's this story. A guy comes home after almost 20 years overseas. You'd think he'd be full of experience and ready to go, but instead, he feels completely lost, totally without purpose. And just like the designer, who does he blame? Himself. He's asking, did I not try hard enough?
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. The diagnosis from the source is that these deeply personal pains, they're not individual failings at all. They are symptoms of a society that's just blocked. The whole system is stalled out, and the reason it's stalled is because the people at the top, the leaders, the entrepreneurs, the people with influence, they just haven't evolved. They haven't kept up with the times.
So how in the world do we get here? Well, to explain this whole failure to evolve thing, the source gives us this really fascinating 3-stage model. It's a roadmap for how a society and the people in it are supposed to grow and develop over time.
And you can see the progression so clearly here. It all starts with the merchant. Their goal is simple, personal profit, just make a living. Then, society evolves into the age of the entrepreneur. This stage is all about aggressive corporate growth, expansion at all costs. But the final and most important stage is the social entrepreneur, where the main goal shifts completely to contributing to the good of society. Now, the source is really clear about that second stage, the entrepreneur. That phase was all about cold, hard, and, well, necessary growth. To make it, you couldn't really afford to worry about anyone else's situation. The one and only mission was to expand your company. It was pretty ruthless for sure, but that's what built the economic foundation we have today. And here is the absolute heart of the problem. We are now, supposedly, in the era of the social entrepreneur. People use the title, right? They talk about social responsibility. But according to the source, they're still stuck in the old mindset of a merchant or an entrepreneur. It's this huge mismatch between the role we're supposed to be playing and the actions we're actually taking, and that's what's causing the entire system to grind to a halt.
This brings us to a really fundamental question then. If those old ways of thinking are outdated, what does it actually mean to be a social entrepreneur? What does social enterprise even look like in practice?
Well, the argument is that we need a complete paradigm shift, a total change in how we think about helping people. The old way was based on pity, giving money, donating stuff. But the source says this just creates dependency, what it calls a beggar mentality. The new way, it's all about empowerment. It's not about just giving someone a handout. It's about figuring out the root causes of their hardship and then teaching them how to build a better life for themselves through things like education and culture.
So social enterprise isn't about being a huge nonprofit or donating millions of dollars. It's much more fundamental than that. It's an orientation. It's any activity, big or small, where you use your skills, your energy, your time, with the main goal of helping the broader community, not just yourself or your family.
Now this might be the most radical idea in the whole thing. This responsibility to contribute, it's not just for the rich and powerful, it's for everyone, even a beggar. The logic is that as soon as you shift your life's focus towards serving others, the universe or society, whatever you want to call it, will start to bring you what you need to keep doing that work. Your purpose flips from getting to giving.
Okay, So we've set up the big societal picture. Now, the source takes a sharp turn and focuses right back on the individual's personal journey. And it argues that for a lot of us, life's toughest challenges all seem to pile up in one specific decade. And there's a very good reason for that.
So if you happen to be in your 40s right now and you feel like life is just throwing one curveball after another at you, well, this philosophy offers a totally different way to look at it. It suggests that these challenges aren't just random bad luck. They are a test, a deliberate, decade-long exam.
And let's be clear, this isn't a punishment. Think of it more like an evaluation. Nature is sizing you up, trying to see if you can be trusted with more. More responsibility, more resources, more influence for the second half of your life. Because according to this, your real life's work, that doesn't even start until you're 50. The 40s are just the final exam to see if you're ready for it.
So what's on this test? What does it take to pass? Well, it has nothing to do with avoiding problems. It's all about how you process them. When things go wrong, do you lash out and blame everyone else, or do you look inward for the lesson? Do you react with anger, or do you respond with wisdom? Can you take a tough situation and just digest it? This internal response, that's what decides your future.
And that brings us to the grand finale of this philosophy. If we pass this test, if we understand our new role, what is the ultimate purpose we're supposed to be living for?
The source points to this ancient Korean ideal called Hongik Engan. It basically means a person who lives to broadly benefit all of humanity. And this isn't just presented as some nice, feel-good idea. It's presented as our fundamental mission, our core identity. Our purpose is no longer just about our own success or survival. It's about dedicating our lives to lifting up everyone else.
And this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It actually comes with a pretty stark warning. The speaker predicts a 3-year window of intense society-wide hardship starting in 2025. And why? Precisely because people are failing to step up and embrace this new role of contribution. It's seen as a natural correction, a consequence of our collective inaction.
So this leads us to the ultimate takeaway. The rules of the game have completely changed. It's not about what you can get anymore, it's about what you can give. This philosophy argues that finding your own unique way to help the world isn't just a nice thing to do, it's the only real way to navigate the challenges that are coming our way. And so we're left with this one final, powerful question to think about. When you face challenges in your life, do you see them as a punishment you just have to suffer through? Or do you see them as a test designed to prepare you for something bigger? Because how you answer that question, well, that might just change everything.